Hey everybody, what is going on? It's War Machine 800 here, back with a new Red Chaos update. As of February 9th for 2026, we've got a major update that just came out. A couple things to go over, and then we'll look a little deeper into a few of these points here. New mode, Chaos mode, has just been added. You get access to a menu where you can instantly spawn units and buildings, as well as enemy units and buildings. You can create intense battles right away. They say the mode's still a work in progress, but they're sharing it early as they work on it, and there are 3 difficulty levels available. Second one here, skirmish mode update. Fast mode has been added to skirmish, so now we have the option for half the building times. Supposedly that'll make matches twice as fast. Tutorial mission rework. Tutorials now in a separate part of the launcher. Missions are reworked with new interactions and balance. And there's a new map. New 6-player map, Frontier, has just been added into skirmish mode. And then the last update is there is now German language support for this game. So quick overview. Chaos mode looks really interesting. We're going to look into that here in just a minute as well. Instantly being able to spawn units and buildings should really, well, as the name suggests, really make some chaotic gameplay that you can just sort of drop things in at any time wherever you want. We'll take a look at that in a minute, see how that looks in practice. Skirmish mode update. We don't really need to look into that too deep. Basically, the idea is just half the building times to try to move things along a little faster. I'm not convinced that's going to literally make your match twice as fast, but it is going to make you able to build your base twice as fast. So I guess that's probably what they're meaning there. Battles themselves are still the same pace. Tutorial mission rework. Not a whole lot to really go over there. That still looks pretty much the same as it did before. Missions are a little more robust than before, but again, I'm not really going to go into that unless there's somebody in the comments who really wants to see it, then maybe we'll do a separate project on that. We are going to look at the new map, though. New 6-player map, Frontier. Always excited to see a new map, especially when it's bigger than the standard 4-player sort of dual arena thing they have set up. I'm hoping, as I'll mention, when we look at the map, I'm hoping that we'll see an 8-player map come out at some point. But for now, 6-player maps are good, and I'm excited to look into Frontier with you. So with the updates sort of covered overall, let's go ahead and take a look into these maps and new updates and see what we have going on. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get our first look into Chaos mode. So we'll just do like default map here to take a look real quick for Iron Hands. You have 3 difficulty options. I'm only going to do a quick look here, so we'll just do the recruit real quick. Alright, so you load into the game, and you've got this menu over here on the left. So basically, you use this to sort of fast track your game, so instead of having to go through, build all the items in the normal menu with the cache, you can kind of just go over here, grab the things you want, and just kind of throw them down wherever. So like, throw some things down. Say you want your airfield, you want your tech center, you want your operations center, you know, everything. You can just kind of fast track your games and have everything you need immediately. I guess I skipped the war factory, so there we go. Now, you do still have to spend money on the units. There's not a way... Well, actually, it looks like... I take that back. You can place infantry units. Yes. That's interesting. So you can place the infantry units down. I am the blade of death. But other than that, let me see if I can... Is there a way to scroll through this menu? There we go. Yes. So you can place the units down as well. So you actually don't need to spend any cash at all when you're in Chaos mode. So I can just go through and place some tanks. You can go through and place some gunships. This is a cool idea. Like, I like the concept of sort of fast tracking your armies. I just don't really know how well this would work in execution. Like, I could see myself maybe doing a couple games like this with friends, but I feel like the novelty of this would die off kind of fast. But it's a neat idea, right? I can just kind of lay a bunch of tanks down all over the map real fast and then just like go and attack my enemy. Now what else is interesting is you can actually place units anywhere in line of sight. So they don't have to be in your base. I can literally just go in and place more units to fight with as I get to their base. So I guess if you were to try to come up with a strategy for this game mode, it would be send some kind of a scout unit or a radar scan into your enemy's base, and then just immediately place units. So assuming I can still use the radar scan. Yeah, so you can just radar scan your enemy's base and immediately place units. So Chaos mode does seem a little wild, but hey, it's an interesting addition to the game, so I'm here for it to see how that develops, and I don't know, could be fun. Give it a try. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this new map, Frontier. So we got a 6-player map. We've got standard start with your refinery depots along here. It looks like your base starts with 2. Look at the Allies base here. You start with 2 in each base. You have your mining facility. Does mine not have the mining? Huh. Okay, so the corner one doesn't seem to have that. Okay, there's a midpoint though. So between these 2 bases, in the corners, you'll have a midpoint to fight over resources here. It looks like that's going to be the same for each one going across the way. Now this midpoint base is interesting because it has a much larger building for garrison. If you start over here in the corner, you've got smaller buildings sort of littered around. I mean, I guess overall you kind of have equal garrison abilities. It's just interesting that they put this one in the back. And then is there anything, there's not really, well, okay, you have these ones in the middle of the way. So pretty similar overall. You have some buildings to garrison in front of your bases. I imagine this corner is going to be the same as mine. Yep, pretty much. And in the middle you have these 4 little pools of water to sort of branch off between. Now this is the one base that we have the enemy set up, because you can't start a skirmish without one enemy. So this is what the other middle one looks like. Sort of the same thing. You have the 2 money depots in the back, building to garrison, and then you have these middle resource points to fight over. So one thing I find interesting is along the sides, the 2 bases that are basically in opposite corners are going to have this much larger depot to fight over. You'll have 2 money depots, and then you'll have a garrison in the middle, and you'll have a mining facility. This one in the middle has a similar setup. You have one here, and then one over here, but they're much further apart. It'd be very easy for this middle base here to sort of take over that one, and then this middle base here to sort of just take over this one. Seems like less conflict involved. They also each have their own mining facility. So the 2 in the middle have a slightly easier time managing those resources, whereas the ones in the corner, as you can see, he's headed over here now. You have the oil derrick right in the middle, and then these 2 resources right next to each other. So the corners are definitely going to have a harder time fighting over the middle ground than the actual 2 middle placements. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty balanced overall as usual. Each base starts with 2 of these resource depots. You'll have some buildings to garrison in each base. And to fight over the middle, you also have 2 more money depots and oil derricks. Just really the only difference that I can see is in this middle point here, there's actually 2 oil derricks. There's one here, whereas the other sections only have 1. Other than that, everything looks pretty much identical, so again, a really well-made, well-balanced map. Yeah, I've been excited to see the new developments for the 6-player maps they've been coming out with. Now, I'm still hoping eventually we'll get 8-player maps. I'm hoping eventually we'll be able to do the 4v4s, the 4 groups of 2. You know, that would sort of complete the RTS experience for a lot of us. But this is still another good progression, another step in the right direction. I think this is a solid 6-player map. I think this will be a lot of fun to play.